It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
The 2015 Dream Season Decree is a deadly combination of speed and precision. It's built for the moments when time stands still. When the only thing that will break the silence is an arrow slicing a clean path to the kill zone. The bow of your dreams is a nightmare for big game. This is PSE's Decree. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back to another Up North Journal minicast. And
Something you won't hear on our normal weekly show, but you're going to hear it on our minicast.
well, we had a special guest this week.
We did.
And Danny, I'm going to let you take this away.
Oh, I'm going to take it. Oh, thanks. You know, everybody, we got David Strandberg still on the line. And you know what, Dave? Welcome to our minicast.
Oh, you know what? My dog just hopped on my lap, just hopped on the bed.
That's a great way.
Almost crushed me with the ball that he had with him, and I missed the greeting, but I heard it. It's great to be with you, Dan. Thanks.
That's a great way
to start the minicast.
Great way to start off.
And if you'd like to talk to Coda, I'd be glad to put the phone up to him.
Oh, there you
go. It might be a more interesting interview, but. For right now, you're stuck with me.
You know what?
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. In our minicast, and we talked about in our minicast, but now we're going to ask the personal side of Dave. A couple of questions we always like to ask, first question, what is your favorite outdoor recipe? Venison. What's your favorite outdoor meal?
And how's it cooked?
Okay, I am going to go with. Can I give you two?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or does it have to be one?
No, we can take two.
I'm going to start with the absolute top, and it is venison. And the other night, when my youngest son it was the night before he left for college, and I had said to him, "Hey, pal, what do you want to have for dinner tonight?" He said, "Venison." And I had I still have some chops left over, and I said, perfect. And the way that I like to prepare my venison is I use a heavy iron skillet, and I keep it really, really simple because I really want to taste the meat. And so all I did is that I heated up olive oil, got it real hot. I did a quick sear on each side, and I used a little bit of barbecue rub, and I let the barbecue rub work its way into the meat overnight in the refrigerator, okay? And so after it hit the oil, it really didn't need much seasoning at all, and I just gave it about 2.5 to 3 minutes on each side. I let the meat sit for about 10 minutes, and it was cooked medium to medium rare, and it was, without a doubt, one of the simplest and best tasting pieces of meat that Eric and I had. It's an amazingly simple way to prepare venison, and it is fantastic.
My mouth's watering. I'm hungry right now.
So there are a lot of great venison recipes out there, and people do some magnificent things with them. I just happen to like simple, and that is a tremendous way to do it. The other one is that I went down and I hunted wild hogs in Texas with a friend of mine named Cable Smith, who is the host of a syndicated radio show in Texas. And Cable has been telling me, dude, you got to come down here to hunt pigs with us. And so I went down there for my birthday, and he had hired an outfitter, and I get into the back of this truck, and there's 4 ARs in there. There was about 7 or 8 handguns, and I thought, okay, I am now in the most heavily armed vehicle that I have ever been in my life. And so we took a bunch of pigs, and we hunted all night long. And so the pig got field dressed at about 8:30 in the morning. I had 2 soft side coolers, that we put the meat in. We stopped at a gas station on the way back. I dumped ice, and I checked it through his baggage on my flight back to Minneapolis from Dallas. And so what I've been doing with the shoulders is that I've been cooking those in a smoker for about 12 to 15 hours and using a dry rub. And I got to tell you, wild hog meat, particularly that time of year, was absolutely spectacular. And my youngest son, who wanted the venison, who's not a huge wild game guy, he loved the venison, and he was real hesitant on trying the hog, but he tried it and absolutely loved it. So I figure if I can get him liking it, anybody's going to like it. So venison and wild hog so far.
Wow.
I'm ready for dinner.
I like duck and pheasant, but those are the 2 that come right to the top for me.
That's awesome. Well, let's keep it on the food side here. When you're traveling,
okay,
and you're heading to, maybe it's deer camp, maybe it's to a fishing hole, whatever, and you're out chasing game, and you're driving along, what kind of snacks do you have to keep you busy on the road with? What's your go-to snack?
Oh, the go-to snack, it's got to be jerky.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I used to do a lot of I used to create a lot of television commercials for a major soft drink company. So I got to say that it's going to be jerky, but it's going to be one of their soft drinks too. So
I got you.
There you go.
I'm cruising and eating healthy.
Okay.
Drinking healthy between the jerky and all that sugar and stuff.
Oh, okay. So you're tooling down the road. You're having your jerky. You're having your favorite pop. What are you listening to on the radio?
Oh man, you guys got okay. I'll tell you what I was listening to after I went to the store and just pulled in. I was listening to Crosby, Stills, Nash. Okay,
Right.
But here's the thing: if you go through my playlist on my phone of my most popular, you are going to have everybody on there from AC/DC to Jay-Z to Keith Urban and Tim McGraw and
wow, that's
who
quite
else
a
is
collection.
on there? It's, you know what it really is for me. It's all about mood when I'm on the road.
Absolutely.
It's the mood,
And
okay.
for example, if it's a beautiful night and I'm making the drive, and I've got about a 45, 50-minute commute down to Cannon Falls, Minnesota, from the southern suburb of Minneapolis that I live in.
Okay.
And if I'm driving and my dogs are with me, they're in the back seat, I get to take them to work with me every day. And on a nice summer evening, and if we happen to leave the office late, I put those windows down and I start cranking stuff, it's probably going to lead to, what's it going to lead to? Right now, the Rolling Stones Live.
Okay.
Rolling Stones Live stuff has been listened to a lot. There's a great recording of Brown Sugar that I absolutely love from the Sticky Fingers album. So that's on there. So have I absolutely thrown you guys the biggest mishmash of music that you've ever had?
No, that's awesome.
What I've just learned is you're a musical connoisseur. You love all types of music. That's great.
Either that or a musical mental case. I can't
No.
make up
No,
See,
you're a connoisseur.
I really do love it all.
Yeah,
I
I
do
love
love it
80s
all.
rock and roll. I love 70s rock and roll. But I mean, my go-to stuff for me is country music, and it's old country.
Yeah.
A little bluegrass
The
twang.
old stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like some
Are
of the
you
new
George
stuff.
Strait guy?
Yeah, I like George Strait, but I also like Zach Brown Band. I like a little Colt Ford, you know.
Keith Urban.
Okay.
Keith Urban, yeah. You know, it's just, I cross over a lot, too, into different ones. But my go-to is country. So.
Yeah, so
That's great.
so now that
Great. There's a lot of my phone, so I'm with you on the country side of it.
So that leads us up to the last question for the minicast.
Uh-oh.
It's what is Mike? You ask it because it just totally just went poof.
What's your most memorable outdoor? I'm going to say outdoor excursion because I know you've just started hunting recently from our discussion before the show, or it can be hunting or fishing. And is it from? It can be from something most recently, or to something when you were a child. And why does it stick in your mind so vividly?
You know what? I'm good. And you talk about the most memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to take you back to last season, and really I've been blessed to have so many great memories. But I think the one that came to mind the moment you said it is that last fall, the week after the duck opener here in Minnesota, I had my chocolate lab, who was just under a year old at the time. He was fresh out of working at Tom Dawkins' Oak Ridge Kennels in Minnesota, and fabulous lab training center. And so Coda had been away from me for a couple of months and getting ready for waterfowl season. And we didn't even have a blind. We were just ducked in the reeds on the side of this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Leech. It's a gigantic lake that's way up north.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, the first ducks came in, and we knocked a bunch of them down, and Coda made just beautiful retrieves. But one of them, and I know it was the one that I had shot, I had just nicked this guy to the point where he flew down probably about 300 yards away from where we were. And there was some chop in the water. And Coda has the attitude in his head that if there's a bird to retrieve, he's the one who wants to do it. And nobody else better get in his way. So here's this puppy Coda was about 10 months at the time. We're talking about 300 yards out in a chop, and he goes. And I kept an eye on him. Every one of us stopped. And when he got close to that duck, so he made it out 300 yards, and then this duck starts diving on him to get away. And so Coda's treading water. He's looking all around the place. His head is up so high, he's looking like the Loch Ness Monster. And so he's trying to figure this whole thing out. And then I guess it made sense to him that if this duck goes down, maybe I ought to go down after him. So the duck took a dive, and Coda put his head under, and sure as can be, he snatched this thing up. And in the meantime, while all that was going on, I looked at our guide and I said, look, I'm giving him about 60 more seconds, and we're going to run and get the boat, and we're going to go get him, because I'm not losing my dog over this.
Yeah.
And he was treading water probably for 3 to 4 minutes. It seemed like 15 to me.
Right.
But he fought. He had the determination. He did everything beautifully. He brought that duck back. He came right to my side, and he held on to that duck until I took it out of his mouth. And after that, I set the duck down, and I picked that puppy up, and I gave him a big squeeze, and I said, man, you are a duck dog. And right then and there, I knew that I just had gold, not only as one of my best pals and a member of the family, but he's only going to get better.
Right.
And I can't wait to get him out into the field and to a lake this season. Let him chase pheasants and let him pick up some waterfowl for me.
Isn't it amazing how these dogs can work themselves into our lives?
I know.
You know, it's incredible.
It's absolutely amazing. I had Grizz, who's my black lab. he's going to be 9 years old, and he is still going strong. And I know that day is going to come to an end where he may not hunt, but I'm always going to have birds for him. Even if he only has to go out 10 yards, he's going to flush birds, and I'll knock him down. And even if I have to go buy those as trainers, he's going to hunt our way until we're just not able to do that anymore. But my son, my youngest son, who I've referred to a couple times tonight, had a traumatic brain injury about 2.5 years ago, and he was paralyzed, and miracles after that. I mean, Eric is walking, he is back at college, and he's living a full life. He just crossed the Cascade Mountains this weekend on his road bike on his way from Spokane to Seattle. So, it's been a gift. But Coda was really, I brought him into the family at a time when Eric came back from the rehabilitation facility where he was learning to walk again. And I thought, you know what? I've wanted to add a second puppy to the family, and what better time than to have Coda here to help with Eric's recovery. And those guys have formed an incredible bond, and I'm grateful for everything that both Grizz and Coda did to help Eric through what was just an incredible chapter in our lives, but one that turned out to be special in all respects. And like I said, it was blessings, and it's a miracle that Eric's able to do the things he's able to do today. And I think that little chocolate lab played a role.
Wow, what a story!
Absolutely.
That it's like I said, the dogs, the way they we bring them in our lives, but in turn they take us into their lives.
Exactly.
And we're so inseparable. It's. That's an incredible story, and what drive and determination by a young dog. But I understand what you're saying. You're ready to go get him because you're thinking this duck's taking him out to sea.
This duck's
to drown him. I've seen geese do that for dogs.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Well, I really,
like I said at that moment, I knew I had a good one.
Yeah.
And so I already knew he was a good companion, but to see that you've got a great hunting partner for life. Who starts spinning circles in the living room when the apparel starts coming out and he sees the guns, he knows where he's going.
He's like, it's time to go hunting. Right on.
Hey, I think my stories have stretched this much beyond 5 minutes, guys.
That's okay.
I apologize.
No,
for that.
Well, that's what these are for. It's to get a little glimpse,
deep dive.
Yeah. It's just to get a glimpse into the personal side of people we talk to, and you've given us some great stories and great tidbits of information. So, no, the pleasure is all ours.
Absolutely.
But we appreciate you taking a few moments out of your evening here to be able to sit and talk with us.
My pleasure, guys. And I look forward to the opportunity to do it again sometime down the road. Whenever you'll have me, I'll be here.
We'll make it real soon, but we appreciate the time, and we're going to wrap it up, and that'll do it for this minicast. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.